What's up, Kryptonians, and welcome to my first video in my new digs. This is my new apartment. As you can see around me, it has not fully been set up yet. The next few weeks, I'm gonna be doing my thing to make sure it feels more like home, but I did want to get you guys another video on Memorial Day. This one is for Lilo and Stitch. So this film was directed by Dean Flesher. I think that's his name. I could be getting that wrong. This is the live action remake of the 2002 animated film Lilo and Stitch. This film stars Sydney Agudong and Maya Kealoha, I think that's her name. Zach Galifianakis stars in this movie as well. It also brings back Chris Saunders, who did the voice for Stitch back in 2002. He's also doing this voice for Stitch in this movie. So the story here pretty much goes exactly the same as the animated film. You have Lilo and you have Nani, who are two sisters struggling on hard times, dealing with the death of their parents. They live on one of the islands of Hawaii, and then Stitch is this chaotic, demonic Tasmanian devil type of alien that escapes from where he is in outer space and comes to Earth, lands on Hawaii, becomes friends with Lilo. What follows is a bunch of shenanigans and misadventures and a bunch of chaos and all that good stuff, and that is Lilo and Stitch in a nutshell. So I actually am a pretty big fan of the 2002 animated film. I think it's one of the better Disney films that they ever came out with. I was at the very least interested to see this movie, not because Disney has a great track record with all of their live action remakes. We know at this point that they don't, although that does kind of fly in the face of logic because all of these remakes, well, okay, most of these remakes are making money, not all of them, but most of them. And as long as audiences will keep showing up for the remakes, Disney will have no incentive to stop making them. So for starters, the title of the movie is Lilo and Stitch. You have to get Lilo and Stitch right. I mentioned that Chris Saunders is back voicing Stitch, and he does a really great job at once again bringing that character to life. Stitch is a lot of different things in both movies. He is chaotic, he is dangerous, he is crazy kind of, but he's also just kind of mischievous, he's kind of sweet, he's kind of cute. Chris Saunders was once again able to capture all of that pretty beautifully through his voice and his mannerisms and all of that stuff. He's a little blue fuck, but he's a fun little blue fuck that you'd probably have a lot of fun hanging out with. So they got Stitch right. They also got the relationship between Stitch and Lilo right. Shout out to Maya Kealoha. I don't know if she's been in any other movies other than this, but she was great in this movie. She's the perfect Lilo, and her relationship with Stitch is so wholesome, and you want it and you believe it. They're really two peas in a pod, so to speak. They both have this thing where they get overly judged for their actions because they're very misunderstood and lonely, and so there's a nice kinship and a nice bond there, and the movie at least nails that. I appreciate that that kept in line with the spirit and the tone of the original animated movie. I would also say that all the performances are pretty solid here. Sydney Agudong, I think she's giving a good performance at the very least. Zach Galifianakis as Jumba, I mean, he's okay. He's doing pretty good. He's a little bit more restrained in this performance, which is kind of interesting and surprising considering it's Zach Galifianakis. They recreate exact scenes in terms of the iconography exactly from the animated movie. So they mostly stay faithful to the story, probably 70 to 80% faithful. They recreate scenes. There's also some new stuff they add that I didn't think was actually terrible. I actually like some of the stuff they added. There's also little references and homages to the 2002 animated film that I appreciated. Like they had the woman who voiced Nani back in 2002. They had her playing a different character in this movie, and I appreciate little things like that, even if in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter that much. I do appreciate that while the spirit of the original 2002 movie is Ohana, this one is also Ohana, but it just kind of does it in a different way. When the movie needs to get emotional, it gets emotional, it brings the feels, and I think that is gonna satisfy most of the people watching. There's gonna be funny, there's gonna be heart, there's gonna be some things that remind you of the 2002 animated movie, and that's really all you can ask for. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that's all you can ask for. You can ask for other things, and this movie might not give them to you, and that's where we get into the negatives. I feel like if I wasn't a fan of the 2002 film, I probably wouldn't be as harsh on some aspects of this story. And that's the thing I do have to tell you going in. If you're a big fan of the 2002 animated movie, there are going to be some changes and some things that they do that don't really vibe with you, and I feel like if you have no idea what that movie is, you're not really going to care. Changes to Nani and her relationship with Lilo. A few changes to Stitch that I wasn't on board with. There are some things that have been completely taken out or shifted or altered from the 2002 film, and normally I'm okay with a change as long as it helps the story. In this one, there are some changes that they make that feel like they're detrimental to the story. They feel like they don't actually help it. They make it worse in some aspects. There are some unnecessary add-ons too. There are some things that are added into the movie that do kind of mess with the pacing, make the movie feel a little bit longer than maybe it should feel. Yeah, I do think the movie, like overall, could have looked a little bit better. It's not a bad looking movie, but it should have looked better. It should have looked a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more colorful. There's a a very stale color palette that does kind of bother me. I would even go so far as to say some of the changes, some of the alterations, they mess up some of the mythos and some of the culture of the original O2 film. And I can't say exactly what that is without getting into spoilers. As a kid's movie just standing on its own, it's fine. Like, it's harmless. It's got some annoying parts for sure and some weird pacing, but I feel like most people, kids especially, will enjoy it. I know it's kind of irresponsible and unprofessional, but it's kind of hard not to look at it and compare it negatively in that way. Lilo and Stitch was fine. It was somewhat entertaining. It's a little bit disappointing as a fan. I would leave this one in the Fortress of Solitude. It's not a crime against humanity. It's fine. It's fun. It has its moments, but definitely the O2 animated film is still the standard, as it should be. Those are my thoughts on Lilo and Stitch. Have you seen the movie? Tell me, what did you think about it? Which one do you prefer? The O2 film or the film that we just got? Go ahead and put that in the comment section below. Stay tuned for more videos. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show. And if you like what you see, tell me how you feel and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.